President Obama's recent announcement that the CIA had accidentally killed an American and an Italian civilian in an operation in Pakistan was absolutely devastating. I think not just for the families of those affected, but for the reputation of the CIA itself. For more than a decade now, the CIA has built this identity around itself of these precise strikes where it always knows what it's doing, where it limits the risk to civilians. And what we actually found out when the president stood up and made that announcement was that they'd had a building under observation for weeks and they didn't know who was inside. And I think it's a sign of how damaging to US foreign policy that is, that the president himself had to stand up and make that announcement. I think we haven't seen such a blow to the CIA's credibility in some years in the drone campaign. And even now, days, weeks afterwards, there are still ripples coming out from that, pressure on the CIA to be more open about who it's killed. So very damaging for the US, and I think President Obama's response was really indicative of that. Civilians will continue to be killed by armed drones. One of the things I write about in the book is that in Afghanistan, where huge pressure was brought to bear on reducing civilian casualties from drones, from other aircraft, they could never get it below about 5%. That's actually seen as quite good compared, say, to artillery or regular manned aircraft. But we're always going to have civilians killed. We can try and limit that exposure from civilians, but we can't remove it at all. And one of the things which should flash up danger signs for all of us is when politicians, spies, generals start telling us that these weapons are perfect, that they don't kill civilians. That's when we should all be staring very hard at them and asking them to explain themselves, because of course it's not true.